And away we go. It is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you as always by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Aaron, I forgot to mention this yesterday. I don't know why. We were at my aunt's house for Mother's Day.
Oh.
And it was just kind of like, we'll make some sides. Everybody bring over what they want to grill up. We'll have some sides and some appetizers. And we're sitting out back in our yard, and they've got like some smoked sausages and like some ham, like almost like if you would have cut it thin, it would have been like Canadian bacon that had been smoked.
Okay.
Sitting out, little dish to dip. I dipped in the dish. I was like, "Ooh, that's really good." She's like, "What do you think that is?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, I know that taste." They were using Galactic sauce for the dip.
I'm telling you right now, I haven't made any dogs yet. We've just pretty much done burgers and chicken right now on the grill so far this season, but I can't wait to get like some bratwursts
and
or
put Galactic sauce on it.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
If nothing else, go to Galactic, get you some chicken, but also while you're there, buy a bottle of the sauce because you're going to use it all summer.
I use it on
all summer.
Turkey sandwiches. I use it on chicken.
Like anything you put mustard on, put Galactic sauce on to replace the mustard, and you'll be more than happy. It'll be a big hit.
You'll thank yourself for your investment.
Yes, you will. All right, we're gonna. I know we introduced the
new
series that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna hit pause on that today because I think there is an interesting topic today to discuss. While it's not directly UC related, it is very much college sports related. So we'll be back tomorrow. Should we give them a hint tomorrow? We're moving to basketball tomorrow. Or whenever, unless something comes
whenever
up.
The next
our next one is moving to basketball, and maybe the most important position on the basketball roster.
Might one call it the quarterback?
We did quarterback yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check that out. We talked about the quarterback position for the football team,
all of
the battle between Evan Prater and Ben Bryant, plus Brady Lichtenberg, plus what things look like when Luther Richardson gets here in a couple weeks. So make sure you go check that out. But today, Mike Bray from Notre Dame, who's one of my favorite people in the game. Anytime I've ever had a chance, like out on the AAU trail, to sit and watch a game with Mike Bray, my face hurts like from laughing so hard. He's that funny. He's genuine. He's self-deprecating. He's got a great sense of humor. So he apparently had like a 30-minute off-season meeting with reporters today. And during the meeting, they were talking about name, image, and likeness and everything that's going on in college sports. And Mike Bray's comment that went viral today is, we've got to stop complaining. This is the world we're in. And last time I checked, we make pretty good money. So everybody should shut up and adjust. For the most part, I think he's right. Yeah. I think there are people that are complaining because they want this to go away. The Supreme Court, as we've talked about, ruled 9-0 on the case that set this in motion. It is not going away.
Well, and we talked a little bit last night on the BBP about what the NCAA is trying to do by considering collectives the same as boosters. I guess you can do that until you were an LLC and are paying the kids for work. And then...
Yeah, I think where that side of things gets cloudy is a lot of this is talked about getting 501(c) status and making this tax exempt through charities, and then essentially taking charity money to launder money to athletes for showing up. Yeah. Like, I think that's one of the points of contention where people are like, this has been taken out of context from what was supposed to be making money for your name, image, and likeness. It's now making money for being on the team.
I guess the
legally
problem
is, I guess, the same.
I guess the problem with that, though, is if they found the loophole that it is tax exempt, that's on the U.S. and their laws, or the state and their laws. That's not on the collective for finding a loophole. Like, kudos.
I don't disagree there. You have a
great CPA if you found that loophole. Well done.
I just think there's some people that look at that and say that's not what this was supposed to be. But when as we've talked about many times, when you enter into something with no plan, and the NCAA entered into this with no plan, it's going to take on a life of its own. And I think for the most part, that is what Mike Brey is talking about, and he's right.
Well, this is what frustrates me, is the simple fact that I've said this before in this airspace, but the NCAA could have gotten out ahead of this. They were too stubborn, didn't want to do it, and they let it all pass them by because of the lawsuit that involved
Mark
Ed
Emmert.
O'Bannon.
Well, there was a second lawsuit that really, the Ed O'Bannon one kind of opened the door. There was a second lawsuit that really wasn't even name, image, and likeness. But the one that went to the Supreme Court was not O'Bannon.
Was that the one that Oscar was part of? Or was Oscar part of the O'Bannon one?
I think Oscar was part of O'Bannon. I'm not sure on that.
I thought so too.
But the NCAA went all in on go to the Supreme Court. Fine. You want to go to the Supreme Court? Supreme Court's going to have our back.
They dug their heels in. Stubborn, as always.
Yeah. I think where there is a little bit of objection to what Mike Brey said is I think there are people that are speaking out that aren't speaking out against NIL, but are saying we want to adjust. There's no rules. There's no guidelines. There's no do this, don't do that. They're even talking about with some of this stuff that the NCAA now is trying to crack the whip, so to speak, saying that we're gonna hold the ability to backdate punishment. Like, here's our guidelines now, and if you broke the guidelines between when this started and now, we can still come after you. They follow that with, we're probably not gonna, but we can.
Get out of here.
Right?
There's a second part to this quote as you say these things. And he finishes up this quote with, "So good luck to y'all. I'll be back in 5 years to see what's up. Just remember, man, we've had it pretty good here, and it's a great job. It's high risk, high reward, but we all know what we signed up for." Basically saying, in 5 years, I'll check back with you, and we'll see where this thing is. Why? Because they still don't have really any rules.
Right. And I think he's right for speaking out and saying, just shut up and adjust. I just also want to give some credence to people that are saying, look, we're shutting up and adjusting. We just want to know what we're adjusting to. We just want to know, is everything fair game? Are there restrictions that are going to hurt us later? What exactly are we adjusting to? And that's on the NCAA for screwing this whole thing up.
Correct. Because again, if they had gotten out ahead of this, they could have been the ones laying down the groundwork for all of this, instead of trying to play catch up, as we've already opened the floodgates and we don't even have an arc built. A point that you've made, though, in the past is, I think that you're actually right, is this why Roy Williams got out? Is this why Coach K got out? Because this thing is untamed.
Untamed. For K and Roy especially, it makes sense because this thing's not by the time they were going to be ready to retire, they're both in their 70s.
Sure.
They were at the end.
Yeah.
By the time this levels off, they were going to be walking away anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with the portal and with name, image, and likeness and everything, they just looked at it and said, you know what?
It's been a good run.
Yeah, it's been a good run. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm one of the greatest coaches in the history of the sport. We'll let the young guys shut up and adjust. And I think Jay Wright was just I don't need this shit. Right?
I've done enough to seal my legacy. I'm good here.
Well, and with Jay Wright, like he theoretically, if he ever got the itch again, could sit out this 2 or 3 year window where water finds its level.
Right. Wait until Pandora's box gets shut.
Right. Or at least it's not like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction where the light shines out. Like, once they close the briefcase and go about their merry way, we might see Jay Wright back. But yeah, there is, as we knew, there was going to be an adjustment. As we knew, it was going to be chaos because there was no structure. And it is chaos because there was no structure. And now they'll figure out some structure, and there will be things that you can do and can't do.
But you can't come back.
Somewhat.
I still think that would be a horrendous move on the NCAA's part to try and say, we didn't have any rules in place, but now that we do have rules, we're going to come back at you for things that you may have done against the rules that we never had in place. Like, you're going to clap back at A&M or at the Miami Hurricanes for what they did in the meantime when you didn't have any rules? Get out of here.
Eventually, it's going to amount to nothing because what'll happen, they'll clap back and then it'll go to court. And then the court is going to say, the Supreme Court made this very clear. And as long as there's lawyers involved and they did everything that they needed to do and dotting their T's and crossing their I's, then, what is the NCAA going to have? The court is going to say, you didn't have any guidelines. And they're going to be like, well, we've always had guidelines against boosters. And they're going to be like, tough shit. Like,
these weren't boosters.
Yeah. NIL is here. I mean, they are boosters, but they're coming at you as a corporation,
right?
An entity, right? Like, that's the difference ultimately, isn't it? Is it's no longer Billy Jim Bob wants to pay you $50,000 to show up at his car wash to wash a car, which now is legal.
Here's your X amount of dollars.
Yeah, well, like done. It doesn't. There's no scale.
That's 4 zeros behind that number in front.
Right.
For washing a car. Well done.
Well, for spraying it. They didn't actually do the wash. They just got the hose and does it look clean? Yeah, we're good. All right. Yep. Here's my bank account. I don't know. Like I love this sentiment from Bray. I want to also say there are people that are okay in this world with what's happening. They just want to make sure what's good and what's not. And the NCAA doesn't have those answers.
Well, because they're reactive, not proactive. Yeah. And it's the same thing with the NFL. They're reactive, not proactive. Baseball's probably the worst about it. The NBA, I think, is the only ones who
they're a little more progressive. Well, you know why?
Because Adam Silver is progressive. Because David Stern was progressive.
Because their players' union and the commissioner, the management of the NBA get it. They get along. They're working cohesively, hand in hand to be better. And there's no adversarial but that also gets to something that's kind of important in all this. What do they have in major sports leagues? Collective bargaining.
Players unions.
What do they not have in college?
That's because they still don't want the players to have money.
Right. I think it's going to be interesting if we're going to see some form of players union arise from this.
Here's the only way I'll be okay if they do clap back at the people who broke the rules, as if Ohio State gets sanctions.
Yeah, but they're not going to be playing in the mud in this. They're going to be playing behind lawyers with everything vetted and verified. They're going to be one of the smart ones.
I know, and I know there's probably a faction of people listening to this that are upset that I even said that, but I stand by it. I hope they get in trouble for paying that kid who went back to Texas.
He's got to pay some money back, apparently.
That's
the rumor.
Under some type of contract where he had to stick around.
Yeah, there's a contract. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You get this much if you do this, and this. And if you don't, you don't finish those deals, then you don't get it.
Problem is, if you already paid him.
Yeah, but if you paid him for things he didn't do, then he's responsible for returning the money that he didn't complete the work for.
Where do you get jobs like that where you get paid before you do the work?
Good gig if you can get it, right?
Right?
24/7 ain't ever paid me for the month in advance, the month prior.
Oh, man.
Here's the money we think you're going to make in April.
Right? Unbelievable.
Nah, bro. No, it's May 1st, and here's the money you made in April. But, yeah. It's just it's fascinating to me to continue to watch this unfold and to see like who steps up to fill the voices in the void on speaking out for college sports. You had, I saw Mac Brown speaking out today about not being able to recruit kids off of other programs, campuses. Like that's where no collective bargaining, no players union, no hierarchy at the NCAA in charge of college football and college basketball. The consequences are the consequences.
Well, going back to Mike Bray's quote, I just feel like the NCAA should shut up and adjust.
Hey, did you see his other quote?
No.
He was talking about the transfer portal. And he said, one of my assistants came in and said, hey, coach, I want you to know, I get up every morning, I read the Bible, and then I check the portal. And Bray said, switch the order, my man. The Bible can wait. You better get me some players out of the portal.
See how that goes over at Notre Dame.
Yeah. But that's why sitting with Mike Bray, your face hurts when you're done with the end of the game because he's full of
one-liners.
You got the wrong order. All right, let's get out of here. You got the PTP tonight. You enjoy that. I'm Chad Brendel. He's Aaron Smith. Galactic Fried Chicken is the sponsor. The Nightcap is the name. Bearcat Journal is the place. See ya.
See ya.